Hey guys, welcome to Unbiased Rugby. My name's Donovan.
My name's Gordon. Good afternoon to everybody.
So we were last weekend of international rugby, so we're just going to go through the review of all the games, and I'll go through the scores first, Gordon.
Yeah.
And then we can discuss the games that we actually watched yesterday.
Yeah.
So the first game of the weekend, we've got it was the New Zealand cricket side playing in Italy, and the score was 66-3 to New Zealand. Next game of the weekend, we've got Scotland versus Argentina, and Scotland won 14-9. Next game, we've got England versus Australia, and England won 37-18.
Wow.
Next game, we've got Wales versus South Africa, and Wales won 20-11. Next game of the weekend, we've got Ireland versus the USA, and we've got Ireland were 57-14. Sorry, we've got, we're actually recording outside, and our neighbours have you'll see them just reversing past us.
Got a wave.
Next game of the week, Ireland versus USA. Ireland won 57-14. Then the last game of the weekend, how's this? France versus Fiji. Fiji won 21-14.
Whoa.
Big one, eh? Big call that. Okay, so I think Gordon and I, we only really watched two of the games in full, and then one of the game we only watched the first half. So obviously the first game we watched was New Zealand versus Italy. What do you think, Gordon?
Hey, that was a walloping. Eh?
It was.
I didn't think they'd win by so far.
Yeah,
I don't know if
so
Italy played their C team, but they seemed to be quite active on the field, and they just didn't get anywhere.
No, not at all.
Half-time, they scored those 3 points before half-time, and it stayed like that until the end of the game.
Well, it was amazing because we were changing over between Marilyn, Gordon's wife, is trying to tease us from the other side to make us laugh. She's not going to get it right.
Yeah.
But we were watching the England-Australia game, and whenever there was a break, we'd change over to the New Zealand game, and every time every time we changed over, there was another 10 points being added. So. Yeah, it was essentially a New Zealand B side.
Yeah.
That was a serious walloping. It was very, very one-sided. It does show that the difference between the top of the tier 1 nations and the tier 2 nations, the divide is just too big.
Yeah.
You know, what did Italy actually gain from that game?
Hey, nothing. Just running on the field for 90 minutes or 80 minutes.
You know, it's you got to try and prove like against like, and I just think that was complete one-sided traffic. The next game that we watched, we actually watched the whole of the England-Australia game. What did you think of that game, Gordon?
Hey, I don't know. Australia just didn't seem to be themselves.
Not at all.
They seemed like an Australian high school side. They didn't have the strength, the speed. They just seemed to be like sheep running around, and they had no game plan.
Absolutely nothing.
And I think it's hard to believe that Australia were beaten by those amount of points, because Australia are a good team.
Well, I look at it and I go, because I look at the score, it was 37-18, but I think Australia got 7 points or 5 points in the last. It was like the last gasp of the game.
What was the score there?
37-18.
Yeah.
I think it should have been 37-13, round about there, or 37-11. Australia were completely outplayed. That England side is very. Carl Sinclair had an exceptional game. They were just completely outmatched, outmuscled, out everything. And I still don't understand why Checker still has his job.
Yeah. The English side were very powerful, and they seem to have a structured attack.
Yeah.
They defended well, and I must congratulate you while we're talking about England.
One thing I did notice, did you notice Farrell tackles?
Again, the shoulder,
Again with the shoulder, and twice he led with the shoulder. And I'm not saying, look, it looked like it was a penalty in my books, but it looks like it's become a bit of a habit that he's starting to lead with the shoulder, and it's just not right, you know. I'm not harping on about that. That's in the past, but it just shows that there's a bit of a habit with the guy of leading with the shoulder and his arms only coming on afterwards. it's not legal tackling, and I don't know why it's not been blown up.
On form with his kicking.
Oh yeah,
excellent kicker.
Oh yeah, flipping hell! Look at the end of the day, what the ref doesn't see is law.
Yeah.
So he is getting away with it, but I just think it's a bit of a habit that he's starting to come. It's like remember Butch James? You know,
Yes,
Butch James used to tackle like that. You know, no arms at all. So, and if Owen Farrell is reminding me of Butch James, then there's something not 100% right there. You know, he's not tackling legally.
I think one of the points why he tackles, I haven't seen him get into skirmishes in like a scrum around him or over him. I think he tries to avoid crowds on the field, especially if they're directed at him. And I haven't seen him make any good tackles.
Yeah,
I could be wrong. And I haven't seen him fend off good tackles against him.
I think he's got good game plan. He's got good game management, but I don't know. It's just England need him.
Yeah,
it's a given. He is their best player in that position, but it is a little bit suspect his tackling.
Yeah.
Then we go into the best game of the weekend, Wales, South Africa, and Wales won 20-11. What did you think of the game, Gordon?
Honestly, without offending anybody, it's just my true how I perceived the game.
Mm-hmm.
South Africa looked like a bunch of people at a Black Friday sale, scattering around everywhere. Then they looked like they were a bunch of sheep grazing and just running around because they were like that. Remember, we remarked, they're like sheep, these guys. Eh?
Yeah, look, I looked at it and I went, all of the tries that Wales got were all from soft moments, all of them. And one of them was Malcolm Marx missed a tackle. The other one, Deontay, came off his line, also missed the tackle. Then the other one, they thought the game had stopped from the knock-on.
Yeah. And
then they just ran around him and scored. It was three very, very soft moments. Look, they still are. They're still my boys. I think they've had a great year. South Africa's had a great year. I just don't think that was the greatest match in the world. And congratulations to Wales for winning the game. They,
excellent, Wales.
They thoroughly deserved it. But it's not like they had to try very hard. Yeah, for me, it felt like South Africa had 25 people playing against them and only 5 for them. So it's like, you know, with the knock-ons and at the breakdown, I felt Wales were so much better at the breakdown. They were over that ball, and you know, I've never really put much into having a dedicated fetcher in your loose trio, but I think we needed one on Saturday. And maybe somebody like Francois Lowe should have started the game as opposed to, well, not Peter Steff. Peter Steff's brilliant. But yeah, maybe we needed a different kind of player on the loose trio. What do you think of the kicking, Gordon?
Well, the kicking, what I saw of it was quite spot on. 1 or 2 missed. But
what do you think of the tactical infield kicking? You know, from the scrums.
Well, they were kicking up in the sky all the time.
Yeah.
It wasn't gaining distance, or it was gaining a wee bit of distance, but not much, because they seemed to have players up in the sky.
I don't know,
feeding the guys with the ball, because all the kicks were high.
Yeah.
And they didn't have nice distance on them.
I felt South Africa were kicking to where players were. Yeah. So Wales could always compete for the ball. And then I can't remember their 15, Stuart Hogg, or I can't remember the 15's name, who came on for Wales. But he literally did some bombs on our back three that put them under so much pressure. And then Yankees was just kicking it away. It's almost like we were, you know, if there's nowhere to kick, don't just kick.
Kick up in the air.
No, like take it into contact, do another phase, and when you see the spaces, then go for the kick. But it was just this aimless kicking. And the last couple of games, our kicking's been really, really good. But Handré Pollard has lifted. Okay, let's be honest. The line speed was quite fast, and Handré Pollard didn't have the kind of decision-making time. But then you keep the ball in hand. Don't just aimlessly kick. It was very, very frustrating from from a South African tactical point of view.
I was actually amazed at the score that Wales won by so much. In fact, that they actually won. I assumed the Springboks had a new breath of air, and when they played that game, and they were going to show us that they could play good rugby and score some, put some score on the board. But it didn't work like that. And
look, in all fairness, we did a talk last night on driving Maul after post match. And, we were asked a question, and I answered it there in the moment. He said, have the Northern Hemisphere caught up with the Southern Hemisphere? Is the gap closed? I think it has closed. But in the same time, I do think it is the end of the guys' season. They are quite tired, but that's no excuse for...
It goes both ways.
Exactly, it does go both ways. So... a little bit frustrating. I still think it was a great year for Springbok rugby. I think we've only had a 50% success rate. I'm trying to remember, because I think we finished the year off in 5th spot. I'm not sure if we started the year on 7th or if we started the year on 5th. So yeah, it's a little bit frustrating, a frustrating game, and I'm actually surprised that Wales didn't score more tries than what they actually did, because the way South Africa played. It was open, and I think an Ireland or a New Zealand had played, they would have completely annihilated us.
Well, I mean, as equally as I'm shocked at South African score, I'm shocked at New Zealand's score.
Yeah.
It just seems to be all the favourites seem to be on the losing foot on Saturday.
Yeah, look, New Zealand scored quite drastically, but it does show that if I look at... Hey, John.
Hello, John. We're on the movies. You can look there and you'll be popular worldwide.
Fantastic. Well, hi to everyone, all the subscribers. Nice to have you on the show today.
Thanks, John. So
that's our neighbour. Sorry.
If I look at the scores, if I look at New Zealand and Ireland scored such high scores against Tier 2 nations, I do feel that Ireland and New Zealand are on another level. England, South Africa, Wales on next level, and then...
What was I talking about New Zealand being cut?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
But yeah,
I'm confused.
But we didn't watch this game. I was watching a little bit of the game. But how's Fiji beating France?
Yeah, that's amazing.
It is amazing. And the Fijians before the game said they would actually win that game, and they did. They did. Completely shocked. But listen, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through the world rankings, and because this is basically how the year is going to finish. So obviously New Zealand's still in top spot. Then Ireland, Wales have securely secured their 3rd spot. And before the game, everyone was saying, does Wales deserve their 3rd spot? Yes, they do.
The Italy.
Italy dropped way down on the world ranking. But and then England, then it's South Africa in 5th spot. Australia are quite far behind South Africa, at least over 2 points. Australia and Scotland are fairly close to each other. Then it really drops. And then Fiji moved from 10th spot to 8th spot with their win over France. And France have dropped to 9th and Argentina to 10th. So I don't know what's happening with the French team.
It is. It's the times are changing. I remember in my first trip to New Zealand. New Zealand, in terms of rugby, they were on a down and out. Their support base back home was dwindling. Not dwindling. People just didn't have any faith in them. And then it changes. It's like South African rugby. We went through a very, very bad spot, and then we come up again. And I think it's like a seesaw. That's the way it goes.
Well, one thing I note, because we're just going to talk about the South African season, this year. And Nick Mallett picked it up after the game, and he said, "There's yes, we've got these big, strong forwards, and we've got great scrums, and we've got great lineouts. We've got all the fundamentals right. The set pieces we've got right, but we've got no attacking plays. It's all about brute force, and it's all about getting over the gain line, and then eventually we score a try. But if you look at how New Zealand and even England, how they play, they've got these moves that they've worked on to score tries, and it feels like South Africa doesn't have that. I know our tech coach for South Africa's Swayze de Brain.
Yeah.
And I'm not 100% sure if he's the right attack coach for us.
Well, I noticed they were scattered. If you looked at Wales, all you see is a nice almost straight row of red shirts on the left and then a few on the right. South Africa, it's like they're playing double lines, you know.
It was all over the
it's
place.
all over the place. No
Very
uniformity, structured poorly.
No,
we've never played like that
no,
before.
I just looked at it and it just felt like there was absolutely... Look, maybe the guys want to get home to have brides with their families and stuff. It has been a long year and, you know, everyone's having a... Look at this. We're sitting under my other pepper tree in my garden. And this is the weather we're having at the moment. So I can imagine that the guys want to get home. But yeah, it was a disappointing end of the year, but it was still a good year.
Yeah.
Overall,
it's entertaining rugby.
Overall, it was a good year for South African rugby because we only lost against 1 point against England. We beat France, we beat Scotland. We didn't lose. Yes, we were lost to Wales, but it wasn't like 50 tries to nothing. Our games against New Zealand this year were very, very competitive. So a lot of the games we were losing, but not by much. So overall, I think South Africa has turned a corner. I think the guys it's the team still gelling together, and it's a growing side. And I've got faith that next year will be even better. Yeah.
There's a few young guys there that are still getting into the swing of things, and I'm sure by next season they'll be fine.
Yeah.
And those guys make a big advantage to the team, eh?
Yeah. What do you think of Ches and Colby?
Brilliant.
Oh,
very, what do they call it? Active player.
Oh, just sidestepping and look, I've seen Ches and Colby play before, but yeah, that guy's got magic feet, and you know we need more of that in our back.
We were missing. We didn't have the beast there.
Sabu Corsi was injured.
Was that the left wing?
Yes, the number 11. Yes, yes. I think it's the number 11. Yeah. So Sabu Corsi was injured.
Didn't have Faf there.
Didn't have Faf.
He would have made a major contribution.
I think so too. I think Faf,
he's the game maker.
Yeah, he makes the decisions, and that kind of game, he would have been so irritating that he would have gone. He would have been a lot more. He plays that kind of game. You know, he really gets in your face. Yeah. And it was the kind of game where you needed a scrum half to be in the face of Wales. So yes, I still think we have a problem in our centre pairing. I still think we're missing a player like Lekonya Arm in one of the teams.
My arm's getting burnt.
Is it getting burnt? Well, we won't keep you guys much longer. But listen, guys, you know we've got a video that we did. Well, I did
last night.
No, the day before, this week, where we've got 15 awards that we want to hand out for the end of the year. I will put a link down below to the video. Please, guys, go through the video and you'll see and just vote on your players. When I'll put in my votes and Gordon will put in our votes. But what we'll do is we'll just put whoever votes for the most, that will get the award. You know, so if I think Pieter-Steph du Toit was the best South African player, who I think he is, but if everybody else votes for Malcolm Marx and it's 8-2 or 8-4, I'll put Malcolm Marx as the winner of the award. So please put it down in the comments. We'll collate everything. We'll give everyone about a week to go through it, and then we'll do the award show next week. We may even get dressed up for it. You know? Yeah,
I just want to share with the guys. We've got 40 to go before we reach 1,000.
We're very close.
Yeah, very close. So guys, close. If you can just
subscribe, share
speak
the channel.
To people, refer them to this little station of ours. What would you call it? Station? No?
It's, we're YouTubers.
YouTubers, yeah.
We're YouTubers. Yeah. You know, for a buddy like Gordon, that's pretty impressive. Because Gordon doesn't even have a camera on his phone.
On my phone?
Yeah. Do you have a camera on your phone?
Oh, my phone inside? Yeah.
Okay.
I can get emails, WhatsApp, everything on that.
But do you use it for...
No, don't. It's a phone. You speak to somebody. That's it.
But listen, guys, I hope you have a great week. It's been a great year of rugby, and it's been a great international season. And here's looking forward to next year, Super Rugby World Cup. It's going to be brilliant. Thanks for tuning in to our channel, and I hope you guys have a great week.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Bye bye.